This episode is brought to you by Working Class Zero. We had Mike on the podcast, super cool guy, and he's helping support the podcast. So if you could do us a favor, if you like the podcast, help support him. Go to workingclasszero.store and check him out on Instagram, working.class.zero. Thanks for listening. All right, this episode is your last chance to get the $100 gift card from AFCO, the 4 LK lures, and the beast hooks. If you haven't filled it out already, go to the doc on Instagram and fill out a quick survey. And then I will announce the winner on July 11th. So do me a favor, fill it out if you haven't. It's really going to help out the podcast. Thanks, guys. Welcome to Cast and Crank Podcast, guys. Today I have Lateralvision and Nick.
Hello.
And Derek.
What's up?
Cool company, man. Pretty stoked to have them. They're a bigger clothing company, and we get to find out how their whole journey started. So we'll let Nick tell us a little bit about your background, like fishing.
Sure.
How you started fishing, and then you could tell us, Derek, and then we'll kind of talk about how the company came about.
Cool.
Know?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's see. Got to dig deep in here. Hey,
if you're nervous, bro, just take a hit of that beer, bro.
You got it. Basically, as I've listened to all these other podcasts, it's the same concept. Dad got me into it.
Did your dad still fish?
Rarely.
Really?
That's what's funny is like he hasn't touched a rod probably 40 years. So
but he used to be like hardcore.
Oh yeah. So I can remember my first experience. My grandparents used to wear a huge role in like me growing up. My dad and mom worked a lot. My grandparents would watch me. I remember being at my grandparents' house and my dad came home with my uncle. And they came back from Irvine Lake back in the day.
Oh, back favorite lake, dude.
A lot of people's favorites.
I know.
Come on, County, bring it back.
Dude,
No.
I talked to Billy Egan talked about it. So he said that they just made a little bit of progress. From I think he says on the podcast. So the government kind of got involved and said, "Hey guys, stop fucking around a little." So hopefully there's.
I heard about that.
I'm like, if that's a big deal. I mean, that and the MLPA's like, if one of those could kind of change, we could have a lake you could drive 30 minutes to actually bass it.
Dude. Oh, I would be so.
That wouldn't be like that. Prado.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could go on Prado on your boat.
I could.
Yeah,
I could.
What's the limit? 16?
16, yeah. With
shit, I have 16 and a half, and I'm like, if I just don't run the motor, you can run the trolling.
I got
motor.
15. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
let's go.
You're good.
No, I love Prado, dude.
We've been there once, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm not a dirty water guy, like because I think we went when the water was low, and it was just stained.
I used to go disc golf, and then I would fish because you could drink beers there.
Really?
So you could walk around disc golf drinking beers, and then I got into fishing. I'm like, fuck. And then I would start at flipping, and I caught like a nice 5-pounder.
Nice. There you go. Okay, well I blew it then. Clearly. But anyway.
But so your dad's hardcore.
So dad, so I came home from Irvine Lake. They open up this cooler. There's like these like 8-pound trout, just massive. Dude. And I'm like, what are those things? Like, oh, we caught these. I'm like, whoa. Like I want to do that. So back to the grandparents thing. They had a house up in Northern California, way inland. I'm talking 12-hour drive from here. You know, maybe 3 hours inland of Redding, California, which is
far. Yeah.
It's out there, yeah. So my first experience really with fishing was going out there and fishing for trout in the streams and the different little reservoirs they had. And my grandparents literally would have to drag me off the water. And I was fishing bait back then. I didn't know what a lure was. I didn't know what any of that was. But no joke, like my poor grandparents, like they sat there with me and I'd stare at that rod tip. And they literally would have to pull me off that water. Damn. And I think they realized from an early on, like, okay, Nick likes fishing. So every chance they had to get me fish, they would let me do it. So huge thank you to my grandparents. But so that was the start of that. And then, you know, my mom would drop me off when I was like 12 at T. Winkle Park in Costa Mesa. Okay. Back in the day when that was more, I think, doable, I guess, or maybe less. Like I remember on the podcast, someone's talked about that, but so she would drop me off there, dude. I'd literally go to Big Five, get a thing of night crawlers with a bobber and a 12-inch leader, and I'd throw it out there and wait for that bobber to dip and catch largemouth, and I would do that every week. My mom would drop me off there. I'd sit there by myself, catching largemouth. And then basically that would go on, summer after summer, just fish as much as I could, any chance I could. And then this is the good story. My first, because I fish predominantly freshwater nowadays. Saltwater.
Mm-hmm.
Freshwater is still a huge role in my life. I still love it. I want to be multifaceted.
Yes.
But dude, so my first time saltwater fishing, I knew nothing of saltwater.
What
I knew
age
nothing
were you
about
at this time?
This was probably 14.
Okay.
14. My uncle calls me, the same guy that brought the trout. That fished with my dad back on the trout story. That kind of sparked the little, click in my head about fishing. He goes, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go out of Davy's Locker. We're gonna go on a half day boat. We're gonna go deep sea fishing." The deep sea fishing, the old term, which I've not used now for 20 years. Anyway, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go deep sea fishing." So it was the first time I ever got up at like 5 a.m. I was all excited. I was up before my dad. Knock on his door, like, "Dad, let's go." We drive down there. We get there at 7:30 because the boat was supposed to leave at 8. The boat left at 6:30.
Oh.
So we're like, oh.
This was at Davies?
Davies, yeah. Okay. So my uncle definitely shot the pooch on that one. So we're like, okay, well, what do we do? So we jumped on a skiff. They had little rental boats, out of Davies. They still got them, right? Okay. Back in the day, they were way junkier than the ones they got now. Yeah. The ones now are rad. But and I remember going out to Newport Harbor, going out to the mile marker to the left. If you turn out of Davies and you go left, there's like a mile marker on this corner. We were fly lining anchovy. I'd sit there and I'd hold in the spinning rod, and all of a sudden you see the line take off. Boom, first fish was a spotty. And we caught this was a long time ago. I'm 30 now. This was 14, so long time ago. Mm-hmm. Dude, we were roping spotties on fly line chovies like it was yellowfin or like yellowtail or something like that.
And you were probably like, fuck,
this is so rad. Yeah, because I'm used to just watching a bobber go, boop, and then, I got one, sweet. And then, dude, I think that was the thing that made me be like, whoa, like this bay stuff is cool. Like the same thing we were talking about before the show. Like, whoa, you can catch a lot of fish really quick. Mm-hmm. And I remember, so here's the fun one. One of my buddies that I went to school with is like, oh yeah, you can go down to all these public docks and, fish off, and they have rod holders and you can sit there and soak bait all day. Because all I knew was bait. There was no such thing as a lure to me. And so my first time ever, I go to one of the public docks in Newport. Didn't have any bait. Literally brought like night crawlers because that's all I knew. I didn't know what to bring. I had power bait. I didn't know my freshwater stuff. Fortunately, by the grace of God, or it's like it was like meant to be. Somebody had left a bunch of clams wide open with all of the perfect clam, like big. I'm talking like store grade, market grade clams. I'm like, okay, I'll just pin one of these on. I don't know. Like I had 12-pound test. I had like a spin rod that was like for trout. I pinned on like a 4-inch piece of clam. Soak that thing out there, and all of a sudden my rod like is in the holder, drags buttoned, and it just doubles down. I run over there and I grab it and I fight this thing for 5-6 seconds, and it literally, I watch my line. It's pulling me so hard. I'm not used to anything pulls me, and then it just like drags my line into the pilings. It just breaks me off. I fell backwards. I was pulling so hard, and no joke, I cried. I fell on the ground. I was so startled and like, what the heck just happened? I don't know if it was a bat ray or if it was just
but a fish that big, and you probably never felt anything like that.
Nothing even close to that. So, and so trout. Dad bringing me the trout in the cooler. Spark number 1, spark number 2 was like, what the heck did I just hook?
Did that trigger your saltwater?
And that triggered saltwater. And no joke, that entire summer, my mom would drop me off Saturday morning with my buddy, and I would go to that dock and I would soak half anchovy squid all day. I'm talking like I didn't care about the tide, didn't care about the weather. I would go soak bait all day.
Fun.
And then just being in Newport, I fell into the party boat scene. I pinheaded on the Nautilus for a summer.
Did you work on it as a deckhand too?
Okay, no deckhand. I just did pinheading because I just wanted to fish. So I was like, hey, I'll clean up the barf. I'll sweep the floor. I'll clean the galley.
Okay.
I'll help people with their fish. You guys don't need to pay me a dime if I could just come out the day after and fish. That's all I want to do. So I said, I'll work my absolute tush off for you guys if you let me fish. And they would let me do that. I'd walk on the boat the next day and just fully get to fish for fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, that's basically how I learned how to fish lures. Okay. That's how I learned how to fish bait, tie dropper loops, tie knots correctly.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, though, dude. And then ever since then, it's been like,
now you got the bug, huh?
Yeah. So, and then there was a good hiatus, like in high school, where saltwater everything kind of fell off.
Tail.
Yep, the typical BS that goes on with high school, and not really,
And you guys known each other how long?
Since 2000, I'd say 2014.
14.
Yeah.
Fair,
oh,
yeah.
So pretty new.
Yeah, pretty new for sure.
Did you guys meet through fishing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get to that story. That's a cool
Let's
story. But,
let's hear how you started
Yeah.
dark fishing.
All right. So my dad, you
Keep
know.
that mic up a little.
Oh yeah.
It sounds loud in your ears, but it
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo!
There we go.
I feel
Oh
it.
yeah. Look
yeah.
at that voice. Yeah.
Nice and all right. Yeah. So my dad, you know, we moved to Cypress, which is close to Long Beach, a couple
Down
miles
the
away,
street here.
down the street, and you know, we started fishing off of the Belmont Pier. There used to be a charter that would go out of that. It doesn't exist anymore.
The boat would come up to the pier.
Exactly, and
I
then
think
pick us
someone
up.
talked about that.
Yeah,
too,
and that was like the OG spot, and we used to fish off that pier a couple times, and just remember, you know, my love for fishing started with saltwater, which I know it's like different from what other people see on Instagram because I
Yeah.
do a lot more freshwater now, but saltwater definitely, like when you talk about calico bass and sand bass and yellowtail, you know, the fishery back then was so live and so exciting. And not too many people on the boats, you know.
What year was this?
This is 90. I mean, I grew up fishing when I was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
So my dad would bring me on. He started me out at the rocks, you know, the rocks where the ballast point in Long Beach is at.
Okay.
So those rocks that's kind of where I first started really,
Yeah.
really like learning my sport and what I wanted to do with bait fishing and all that. And he graduated me to the big boats when I started kind of learning how to tie my own hooks and my own weights and putting my own bait on, where he didn't really have to rely. I didn't have to rely on him. And I think back like maybe like 98, 99, he and my uncle got a Bayliner. Is it water skiing? Yeah, like a water ski
Okay.
boat. And dude, they got like they would make their own like bait tank, and like there were, you know, the
Trash
handyman.
can
Yeah,
with
they're construction. They're construction workers.
Yeah.
You know, they're retired now, but they knew how to just create anything to make it work, and for us to go out and yeah, sure, we would chase down the big boats that's what I used to reference them as, big boats, to my dad.
It's so funny. I just had Dave Hansen in, and he goes, "Don't fish for both,"
yeah, dude.
which I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah.
It's like you know, in the beginning, it's
Yeah.
like right.
I mean, that's just it's the easiest trick, I guess. It sucks big time.
Yeah.
Trust me, but
Yeah, because even when I got my first boat, you buy the maps, but it's fucking hard to figure out. Like, okay,
You don't
where are
know
we
what's
at?
going on.
If you don't have a GPS, it's like you don't
No.
fucking
Yeah.
know.
no.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so funny. I just wanted to come back. To
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
reference,
no,
'cause
it's all
he-
good. It's all
earlier,
good.
You know, just saying,
Yeah.
don't fish for boats. Fish for fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Lesson for the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dude. And then I remember one time it was like peak sand bass and calico, but I think it was actually sand bass, and we were getting them maybe like 80 feet down, and I remember the water being super clear. Don't know how deep it was, but we were metering fish at about, you know, halfway point, and because the water was so clear, I was like, oh, I wonder if I could see these fish. And sure enough, you could see these sand bass cruising. Like you could literally see them, and I just remember that so vividly because I was like, "Oh my god, I've never seen this." This is like National Geographic.
yeah.
And I remember dropping my bait down and seeing these fish just, you know, look at it, like
That's
just
crazy.
look at it and eat it and hit it, and sometimes you'd hook up, sometimes you'd miss them. It'd be so, you know, it was such a vision that was so out of the ordinary for me that not too many people will experience.
Was that your spark, probably?
That's
I'm
probably
assuming?
my spark for definitely for the fishing that really got me into the sport, and it's in my blood. It's in my dad's blood. It's in
Yeah.
my family blood. You know, he started fishing and hunting when he was young.
Do you hunt
know.
too?
I hunt too.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, "You hunt too? You fish?" Like, you know, because people are like, "The way you look, you don't look like you."
Derek's
freaking
like the
fish."
most fashionable street hunter and fisherman in
Yeah.
history, but he kills it though.
Nah,
dude.
man, that's
No,
dude. It's,
all respect to this
yeah, I
dude,
appreciate
man.
it, man. I
It
appreciate
doesn't. You can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah,
That's
you can't.
Derek's true thing. Is like, don't get caught up in the Yeezys he's got or like all this crazy crap that he collects. And I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
my Vans are beat up in the
Yeah,
car right
yeah.
now.
I
But
wear hand-me-down shirts.
Yeah.
and
he takes.
all my
he-
clothes have paint on them.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he fishes just as hard as somebody that has beat up close. So it's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
but it
Who
doesn't
cares?
matter. It's
No,
like if
nobody
you like
cares.
fashion, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
who cares,
do you, dude?
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't make fun of him.
Yeah.
yeah, I do.
Yeah, sometimes
a little bit,
sometimes
just a
you
little
do.
bit.
Like, hey, bro, relax. You can't
all
be coming
good.
to the office like that.
Yep.
Nah, but
So you're saying about the sport boat?
yes, you know, the sports boats, and then you know what? In Long Beach, there's a certain park that really showed me what the love of freshwater was.
Cue dolphin noises.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows
Yeah.
what park you're talking about.
and dude, it
But
was
you're being very respectful by not saying
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
You aren't being Seth Niswonger and just going, I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Shout out
dude.
to Seth.
Dude, the
Seth
fishery,
Brad.
the fishery at that park was so amazing, and it.
And what
it's-
year was this when you
This
kinda...
is 97 because that's when I first caught my first bass, largemouth, and it's gonna sound funny because the way I caught this first bass
Bring
was
the mic up.
oh yeah, the way I caught this first bass was on a. So do you guys know what a banjo minnow is?
Absolutely.
Okay, so on TV, I got sucked in. I was like, oh man, I need to catch these fish. Like, I want to catch my first bass. I was watching a lot of fishing shows, Bill Dance, who were the other, Shaw Grisby,
Roland Martin.
Roland Martin, yeah, and all those guys. And I was like, man, I want to catch a largemouth. I want to throw a spinnerbait right against the tree line and just freaking get smoked. And so I buy this. So I remember going to a Kmart. There was a Kmart right in Cypress, and I walked in, and it was like, as seen on TV, banjo minnow, and it was on sale, and I was like, Pops, please buy this for me, like I want to fish this, and it comes with everything, comes with heads, comes with different size plastics, and the next day.
Does that have the light in it? That one? No, that didn't.
No, it's not that one. No, it's not it. Yeah,
I seen that one.
No,
too.
yeah. That one's but next day he takes me to the park, and I didn't know that I was there during spawning season for largemouth, and so I start just throwing this against the Thule line, and I'm just reeling it in, throw it out, reeling it. I was at the spot for like a good 30 minutes, just not knowing what I was doing, and out of nowhere I get smoked, and I'm screaming because I'm so excited about catching this fish.
Screaming.
Yeah, dude, I didn't.
I didn't
I'm
even
like,
land my
yeah,
fish, though,
dude,
no?
I was, this is my dream at this, at this age to catch this largemouth.
Yeah.
And I get it, and there's a bunch of people surrounding me because that's what people do at the park lakes. They surround you when you catch something, and they're like, "Oh man, that's a nice one." It was like a 3-pounder,
Yeah.
and y'all fishermen are gonna hate me for doing this, but I kept it.
Oh man, what a
Because
story!
it
dude.
was and RIP to that fish, man.
You ate it
He
up?
sacrificed. No, I didn't keep it to eat it. I kept it because at that young age,
You
I
don't know.
wanted to show my dad, like, and
You
make
bring
him
it
proud.
home.
Yeah,
Okay.
like, look, I'm not lying. I caught a bass.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
with
And you
the-
had
with the
no
li-
camera then.
No, you
No,
had,
no.
yeah,
There's
you
no
had the
pictures
disposal
back.
camera, and he did take pictures of me holding this fish in the backyard that we still have to this day, and
You have a fish? It's frozen. No, I'm just-
no, it's still not.
Just
It's
in the
gone now.
freezer
It's
still.
gone now. Yeah, but
When you're a kid, you don't understand.
You don't
that
understand.
Yet, though.
Well,
yeah.
I take my boys. I used to take them out, and they would fucking sit there and just chop up live anchovies and throw them over.
Oh, man.
That's all they wanted to
Yeah.
do. Just fucking kill fish. And it's what are you gonna tell them? No, go
Yeah.
ahead, keep you busy.
Yeah.
I don't give
Yep.
a shit.
yeah, dude. So that's.
I'm sorry, I'm fucking sweating. It's so fucking hot in here.
Is
I
it?
get hot all the time, dude.
Dude, I'm chilling.
fucking-
Actually, I think it's the beer that's cooling
Yeah.
me down. I'm
I need
chilling.
to drink like 4 more of those again.
Yeah. Seriously.
But if you guys need a paper towel or something, let me
I
know.
appreciate it, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. But that's
So,
kind of.
so you've been fishing more freshwater since that point?
Yes, and thankfully Nick's been taking me out a lot more saltwater. And you know what? I've actually been hunting a lot more. And
I've seen some of your video. Duck.
Yeah,
duck hunt?
a lot of
Okay.
duck hunting out
Okay.
in Salton Sea, and that's what's been taking my life over from September all the way to the end of January. It's just hunting, where I didn't even touch a rod, and it did make me feel like weird, like what, like I haven't really fished. So once like Nick started inviting me out to go saltwater fish, I was like, let's go. One of the first trips we took was a trip out of Long Beach, throwing the cranks, and we got them good.
Did you ever
We
hit
got
the wall?
them, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and I love cranking for largemouth, and
I'm just getting on the crankbaits. So
Yeah,
like
dude.
I don't use a lot
There's
of
a little
it,
bit of learning
so-
curve.
Yeah.
It
so-
took
Yeah.
me a long time to figure it
Yeah.
out. Trust me.
Well, I got
it's
closed
hard.
on the A-rig.
you got what?
A-rig.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I know I got shit from EB. He
Eric,
goes,
will,
"Hey."
Eric will give it to you on that one.
Hey, buddy. Is your family okay?
Oh,
Why are you using the A-rig?
Why are you using that?
Oh, man.
I was
dude.
like, thank you, Eric, for burning me hard.
Eric's
Yeah.
all love at the other day. He just likes to give you a hard
I
time.
know he has the best burns ever. I
Yeah,
love Eric.
He's fantastic. Oh, yeah.
He's a guy, like, he made me think a couple times about my line choice.
Yeah,
Because, like, you
Yep.
go, when we filmed the pilot, I watched Bobby fish, Jeff, and Eric. Now, Eric had a completely different outlook on the line. And then even the previous Eric Johnson, he used to fish really heavy and deep. He's like, I don't fish anything over 20 when I'm going deep, floral. And I'm like, that's fucking light, dude. You know, and that's what I used to fish all the time. And I'd go to Crystal Cove. I love Crystal Cove.
Yeah.
And fish 15 and get broke off. But I don't know. I'm used to it. And I fish a lighter rod usually.
Yeah.
You got the
I'll
bite
fish.
though. I mean,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's what. But I like. I mean, I love fishing lighter rods too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not
so
used
fun.
to
It's
like
fun.
the heavy ones, so I'm used to taking my bass like a flipping rod, and fishing that for calico.
Nice.
That's what I used to do in the beginning
Yeah.
because I didn't
Yep.
know. You know, so it's like, yeah, but it's cool to get everyone's perspective like
Oh,
that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You know, is you go out fishing with a guy and they're throwing completely different than you
Oh, yeah.
are. You know, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it so fun sometimes. You know?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I've learned from so many of these guys that you've
Right?
had on this show, and
Yeah.
I feel like because like I said, lures weren't a thing for me until, I don't know, 8 years ago,
Yeah.
7 years ago. We
Yeah.
didn't have, it was just,
Just
bait,
bait,
and all that
yeah.
stuff. So I really love that you brought on a lot of these guys, and I literally take little bits and pieces from what they're saying, and I develop into my own style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take somebody's exact thing, like what they tell me to fish, and do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it my way, and then figure out little nuances that maybe are working for me, but they're probably not going to work for anybody else. It happens to me all the time. I call my boat like, yo, try this bait.
Yeah.
Derek, here. Like, they were eating this thing good yesterday. He'll fish it, not catch one thing on it, but I think it's every angler is different, so
Definitely.
it's
It's
cool.
a little twitch or a little
Something
that
you're doing is
yeah.
different, and it's just the reality. And
Yeah.
but that's the fun. That's why we keep coming back. We don't
Right.
know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't
Exactly.
know. I might go out tonight, and I don't know what's going to happen. Probably get
me
skunked
too.
as usual. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, our team guy, one of our like original day ones, Parker. He's so
Dude, he's a killer
he's
in freshwater, huh?
insane.
We'll come back with him if you want.
Yeah,
I messaged
he's
him too.
another.
Okay,
like,
good. Yeah.
dude, he's like he knows what he's doing. Like,
He did really
thinks like
good
a
on the
fish.
anglers.
He
Yeah,
does.
he's
year, right?
he's been doing
Yeah.
really good at the tournaments, especially like recently. He's been placing like first, second, third, and just
doing damage, man.
Yeah.
and he just thinks like a fish. And but he also spends a lot of time on the water. And I think Evan Salve said, yeah,
Time
it's
on the
like
water
time on
is
the water.
key.
Everyone, time
Yeah.
on the water. That's been like a key
Yep,
point.
You have to.
That's
you can-
hard to do, though.
It
my
is,
gosh.
dude. If you don't have the money, if you don't have the time, you got a full-time job. It's
Especially
hard.
freshwater. Because I feel like
Yeah.
salt, you have $12 and $10 in gas if you live close. You can fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But going to the lake, it's like from here,
Yeah.
It's
you're
a
looking at $60 in gas plus
Yeah.
40 to get in. You're looking at $100 at least a trip.
yeah,
You know,
Fair.
so it's like it's
Very fair.
yeah.
it could be
Good.
hard. And it's like the best case scenario, if everyone was around, or Silverwood's a little closer, maybe. You know, not really, but
From my house, yeah, that's a long one, but it's worth it though, dude.
Yeah.
I love DVL, I love Skinner, I love Paris.
Skinner, I love, man. I haven't gone back for about a couple years.
Yeah.
but I,
It's a
I
great
really
lake.
Like, yeah,
it's
Skinner.
it's small. You can cover it a lot. There's big fish. There's multiple ways to fish it.
Yeah.
In the summer it's ungodly hot though.
Yeah.
Dude.
You got to get out of there by noon, or
Yeah.
you're.
I
getting
never fish
roasted.
lakes later than noon because I don't want to fight the traffic.
Yeah, the traffic
It's just
Winds
like-
are
sucks.
sticking up.
Dude, the summertime at Paris and all that, it's so hot. It's gnarly, but anyway, but
You fish the San Diego lakes too?
no, I'm
No?
not. It's I
far?
stick to mainly. Not too far. It's more so I spent a fair amount of time. I got really into swim bait fishing about, I don't know, 6 years ago. I met a guy I did a logo project for named Ben Donati. He owns Lowdown Custom Rods.
Okay, yeah.
He'd be a fantastic human.
Yeah,
for this
we've been
show.
going back and forth
Okay, good.
about it. Yeah.
Ben is by far one of my
probably for a couple months. He's
Okay,
been
good.
busy, Yeah,
He's a very busy man.
Yeah.
But I met him for a logo project, and he, showed me in this whole swim bait world, and I got super into that. I got sucked in, as everybody does when they see the videos, they see the photos. But back then, it really hadn't skyrocketed yet.
like it is now. Like
It was still popular, but it wasn't skyrocketed. So I felt like I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to try this. All these guys, Derek, I was fishing with Derek and Parker a lot, and they were like, jigs, underspins, kite tits, flipping.
Yeah.
I came from saltwater, so I'm just like, I'm not used to throwing light stuff. I'm not used to throwing little mini jigs and flipping around. So I was
Yeah.
like, man, swim bait fishing might be for me in freshwater, because it's like calico fishing. It's the same excitement
Yeah.
of like, oh, look at that thing behind it. Boom, boom, boom. These big erratic glides, or, these big stupid sized looking baits, But that's basically the reason I got into freshwater. I mean,
For
was
swim baits?
because of Ben.
And you like this one? Do
And
you
I just-
primarily throw big swim baits?
Yeah, I get
his thing.
ridiculed pretty heavily
Yeah.
for it, but again, I come from a different land, and I
Yeah,
want
you-
to. I enjoy it because I knew I wasn't going to be. I know myself, and I admitted like I'm not a drop shot guy. I'm not a jig guy.
Yeah.
I don't have the
Yeah.
patience for it. I'd rather wait for that one big explosion in the fresh.
You're looking for that big one,
Yeah.
not just for a couple.
Because I do so much saltwater, it's like that's a cool way to go and just spend some time and
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Like,
Change
wait for
up.
it. But man, it's grueling. It's exhausting.
I tried for, gosh, maybe like 4 trips, just straight jerkbait rod and a swim bait rod, and that was it. And I lost 2 S waivers the first hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's $100.
Yeah.
Done.
And then I'm
gone.
like, fuck this. So I'm talking to my wife on the phone, dude. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. And then I look at the water and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I see a big follower. And my wife's on the phone. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, I think it's going to happen, dude. Like, I'm ready to bust a nut, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. And she's like, what? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh. And then I gave it a twitch, and the fucker slapped it and then took off. I was like,
Yeah.
Dude.
but it made me
That
go, oh,
heartbreak.
that was worth the whole fucking day.
Yeah.
I've gotten into it over. The first person I saw into it was Matt Magnan from DV. I don't know how you say his last name. You know his Last Chance Tackle.
Oh
Matt.
yes.
Is it Magnan?
I don't know his last name.
Yeah, but
I know his
he-
first name's Matt. That's it.
So he would always post on Fishing Network, and he'd always do a DVL report, big swim baits for stripers. That's when I kind of got. This was probably like 6 years ago. I saw it same time, but then I went with Charles Tatuna.
yeah.
I went with him a couple like once, and then he kind of showed me the guidelines. And then
Yeah.
go to Joe at Performance, who sold me some, told me what to do.
Joe's
Seth, of course.
Yep.
But yeah, it's interesting to see, like a different pattern of someone
Yeah.
that came straight to the swim bait game, not really caring.
No,
much
I
about it.
literally had maybe I literally I think I told these guys like we would go to lakes and I would not bring anything but that, and I don't think I had ever caught. I think I just caught my first fish on a jig 2 years ago. I caught my first crankbait largemouth 3 years ago,
Really?
4 years ago.
Tell him about the flipping. Your first flipping fish.
Oh man, wait at
the park.
yes
On the Cinco, man.
So yeah, I remember like all saltwater for me.
Yeah.
Zero freshwater up until I met this guy in
Okay.
2014. Other than T-Winkle bobber dropping. He takes me out and he's like, I'm on this bite. He's like, just bring this rod from your spotty arsenal and take this silly looking worm thing and tie it on a hook. I said, okay. I'm like, whatever. We go out there and I literally look across the lake and he's already got one. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this, And then
Pumped you up.
we go the whole day and like I think he had like 8 or 10 fish. I had one.
Is this at a park?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a
We're
big
not-
accomplishment.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's,
No, I mean,
he's-
dude, Laguna,
he knows
I
it.
beat the shit out of, and I've caught maybe 3 in a day.
Yeah.
Which 8 in a day is like, it's a
Yeah.
big deal.
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
At
But
any park lake.
any park, like, yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
why I had so much from when I met Derek and as a business person and as a angler, I'm like, woo, this guy can fish.
Yeah.
So he's catching them, and I remember I kept going over and being like, I just want to get one, dude. He's like, so he starts following me around, and like, he's like, see that hole? Put it right there. I said, okay, cool. Boom, hit it. Nothing. He's like, all right, see that little thing way back there? Hit it. I'm like, that tiny little freaking thing in between the reeds. Hit that. He's like, yeah, do it. I got like a 3-pounder. Finally, I was like, yes. It's like I have like the most glory photo ever. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I did it. And then so the day's wrapping up. We're headed back to the ramp, and there's this one patch right by the ramp, and I flip my Senko up towards tighten the things down. Nothing. I start like fishing it back like a jerk bait, just because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, oh, it had some cool action.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, do this like massive one, good sized largie comes out of the toolies, and it's just like mesmerized by this thing, and I'm like, oh shoot! So I hit it in free spool, line jolts out of the reel. I pick it up and hammer it. Boom! Battle. Flip it. Get it or not flip it. Get it to the boat edge, and I reach down and lip it, and it was like a post spawn. Could have been an 8, but she was probably like, I don't know, 6.
I was
probably
super
like,
excited
That's
for
a
him.
great
So
fish. though, dude.
skinny but long, and just a
Yeah.
biggest largemouth I'd ever seen. Let
At
alone
the time, caught.
PB
was-
guaranteed.
Is that still your PB now?
No.
What's
PB
your
right now
PB?
is just shy of 11.
Yeah, dude.
Man,
Skyrocketed
Yeah, no,
a little.
he
The
has a
swim bait
good-
thing,
Swim
though, I mean,
baits, yeah.
that's I
What's
put
your PB, Dick?
9.
nine.
That's
Nine.
good.
Flipping. Yeah.
Flipping, yeah.
Flipping.
Yeah, flipping.
He's had a few
That's
though.
that's what I
How
do.
long
I do
ago was this?
early 2000s.
Okay, so you're-
and at the same park, like a lot of my fish come out of there, and that park has been really good to me.
Oh yeah.
That's a-
And
yeah.
that's where I
Cut
I
your
do a lot of
teeth.
flipping.
You
Like
do?
that's my thing, flipping and pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Like you tell me to put it in the cup. There's a video that we just shot that it's like 50 feet away.
55 feet.
Yeah,
Did you
55
Did you
feet.
practice a lot?
Huh? I did practice, and I think who taught? I think it was like Bill Dancer or one of those TV guys. They would put a hat out, and it's like if you want to get good at flipping, flip it
Practice.
inside the hat and just practice that. And so now I could like put it wherever you want, 50 feet away. I'll put it in a little cup. Like Easy.
A coffee cup, dude. It was
Dude,
right.
my uncle said he went to. My uncle was in Bass Aquard for like 20-something years, so he knows like Cobb Seth. He knows Scott Panthel.
Yeah.
He fished with them. They were kids, and he was older. So he told me he went to the the Bassathon?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think Kevin Van Dam was. This was a long time ago.
Nice.
Okay.
Bassathon sounded so cool, man. I wish
Dude.
that sounded really fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, carry on.
And he said, we were in the audience sitting, and he's like, put your foot out to this guy. And he puts his foot out, he flips right over. Perfect. He's like, grab it. He's like, I'll give you this rod if you can grab it. And the guy's like, all right. And he said he just and then threw it back, said, put your hand out. And he put it in his hand and pulled it out of his hand before.
Cool.
He said, dude, they're so precise. It's like,
Yeah,
You have to be.
amazing,
You have
dude.
to be. It's finesse.
And when I remember being at my old houses in the ghetto. It's like I'm drinking beers, my kid's sleeping. I'm just pitching. And this guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" I'm like, trying to get good at pitching, dude. I mean,
Weren't you like in your high 20s too? Like,
I was 30 years old.
that's so dope.
I before this fence was up, I was trying to learn how to skip good.
Oh,
Oh,
nice,
God.
dude.
Yeah, that takes.
Nice.
So I'm like, fuck, this takes too much time.
I blew out so many reels trying to learn how to
Dude,
skip, dude.
right?
Woo, just like.
Yeah, and I'm doing
gone.
all this in 30 years old, 29 years old. Like I'm like,
Age is just a number, man.
dude, I was fishing Laguna Lake like probably like 4 times a week.
That's awesome.
This is when they used to stock catfish a lot,
Okay.
and I'd take my older one, and we would catch maybe 10 in a night. I'm
Nice.
just throwing
Nice.
back in because it was just fun to catch them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
And
sick,
then
dude.
the lake I hate, Ralph B. I fucking hate that lake.
I've
People
done,
do good.
I've done some good
People
fish
do.
there, man.
Justin's done really good. The co-host.
Justin, Seth's done good in there. That's a
Seth's
cool
done-
lake.
dude. Locally, Seth's done.
He's a
Very,
he's-
very
he knows,
good.
Him and Derek should have like a park lake tourney. It would be so
Dude.
rad.
Dude, that honestly was when I was first thinking about Lateral Vision. I was like, man, I want to create a tournament at a
Gosh.
park lake. How would you do that?
They're
you know,
doing
like,
that heavy set crew one. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Pudding Stone.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are nice.
Yeah.
I
I think
it's
we're gonna
July.
donate product to that.
Are
one.
you?
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna go to that one?
Yeah, I'll probably show up. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be fishing calicos.
Oh, are you?
No, I'm just kidding.
I probably would.
No, I want to go. I want to go for sure, man. And anything we support like that too, we should show. We will do always our best to try
I
to
know.
get
I was
there,
supposed to
you
go
know?
to one today for a Western Species or like a little group, and I gave shirts, and I was like,
Oh, cool.
I couldn't make it. I fucking
Yeah.
have a podcast.
It's-
Know?
yeah.
That's a whole.
But-
I was gonna go to the SBS finals today too,
Nice.
Oh
but-
yeah, I wanted to go check the
but
weigh out.
I
That'd be
went
cool.
to yesterday's.
Okay.
Dude, 24 pounds.
Really?
Pickup
Saw that.
weights, dude. Yeah.
Yep.
Sandy's
Chad.
calicos. What was
It was Sandbass.
Oh yeah. Of
Dude,
course,
it was some
big turd rollers.
Dude,
Those sandbass guys that fish deep just know their stuff.
Yeah.
I got my butt kicked in 2 SBSs ago. By
Oh, did
those
you
guys.
enter
yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Who
I've
did
done,
you enter with?
I've done the last 2 with Sivri
Okay, I
Castellanos.
saw. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
did good in the last calico one, and then that other one though where you could fish sandbass.
Did you guys do amateur? Or?
No, we do the big one.
Okay.
Technically, I've had a long enough tournament thing now where Jerry wouldn't let me do the rookie, and I like the challenge. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I
Dude,
know
that
I'm
rookie division with the
competitive
dad,
still.
the dad and the son with the skeeter.
It's still
Dude,
just
they
as competitive. Man.
have a small 15-foot bass boat, and they're fucking fishing the wall. Like, I went one night and they're launching. I'm like, damn, these guys are fucking crazy, dude.
They're the coolest people too, man. I love those guys.
The day I think you were in the first one I
Yep.
went to, you were there.
Yep.
And they pulled out that 9-pound, or what did they?
it's
no,
6.
6. And then Quimby
Yep.
had that 9.
That 9,
Wow.
Dude, that was big.
That's very
yeah.
impressive.
Big fish, dude.
Yeah, I'm so
sick.
dorked out. I go there and like just
Oh,
watch.
dude.
I'm
Why
like,
not?
for
Dude,
sure,
I do the
dude.
same thing. I'd go sit by the basket, like at the Newport tournament last year. My partner bailed out on me and wasn't able to make it, so I went down to the weigh-in and I'm sitting there looking at the weigh basket, like, oh, look at that one.
Yeah,
oh, look
right.
at that one. I'm like,
And I'm like, oh, fucking dork.
Yeah. Yeah. You admire the
I
shit
don't
out
care,
of those
man.
fish.
I love it. You know,
Yeah.
it's about having fun. But
Yeah, definitely, dude. But so
want to talk about some brand stuff?
yeah, let's talk about how it started.
All right, so Lateral Vision. So back in 2009, my buddy, so I was, very into fishing at that point. I was ninja fishing. Ninja fishing is when you go to golf courses and places you're not supposed to go fish. It's technically not poaching because you're not keeping the fish, or you're letting
Yeah.
them go. You're doing it because you're trying to, fill a void. And bloody decks. My buddy told me to sign up. His name is Chris. And he was like, dude, you got to sign up, like this forum. And I've never been on a forum before. I didn't know how they worked. And I was like, all right, I'm going to sign up. Signed up. And I noticed that there was a big community of anglers just like me, which was very refreshing. Before this, the only other thing was skating and this and that. But even then, I didn't go to forums for that. And so it was kind of like a first Instagram or some type of social media to display your story, tell them how you caught it. You're very open there. You technically wouldn't say where, and then you showed your pictures, and people would be like, "Oh, dude, like amazing fish!" Like, "Oh, dude, that's a good one. Would you catch it on?" Whatever.
Or you get shit on really hard.
Or you get shit on really, really hard.
Or you get like 12-year-old.
If you say the wrong
hey,
thing,
do this. Hey, you should try this next time. I'm like,
if
I've
you
been
say the
fishing
wrong-
longer than you've been alive.
Right? Dude.
Dude, you say the wrong thing on there, you're gonna get toasted. So I had personal experience.
Oh yeah.
But
I hear you. Same thing.
so I noticed, and me, so I have a friend, I still talk to him or know him to this day, and his name is Brett Murray, and we kind of grew up around the same area in Cyprus. He went to the opposing school, a little older than me, and we would go on a lot of adventures together and go fishing in various places. And he was we started talking about like, dude, we should create a brand. I was always into clothes, streetwear, whatever it was, sneakers. I'm still in it to this day. And we started talking about creating a brand. At the time, it was Bassaholics.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Bass King.
Bass King, I think. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I think around that time, there was like another
Bass
brand.
Knuckles was there.
Oh, yeah, Bass Knuckles.
Mad respect.
And I noticed that there was a lot of bass. And, of course, I love bass fishing. That's what I did. But I didn't want to, when we first started talking about creating a brand, I was like, I don't want to name it anything that has to do with bass because that limits your space. You become very niche to just bass. And sure, you could go to Yellowtail and post other pictures of other species, but it still limits you with your name and getting to certain stores or, reaching out to certain customers. And so I started thinking about names, and I remember I wrote like a list down, like handwritten, just like crossing out names, and he would come up with names we'd cross out. And the way the name kind of came up was I was always intrigued by the lateral line of the fish. Now, the lateral line of the fish goes across the body on any predatory fish, and they feel vibrations in the water for prey. And I always thought that was super interesting. Like, dude, like the evolution for that is so like intriguing. Like, how did evolution even become to do that for predator? And I always saw it as a third eye for the fish, which is why it's lateral vision. And when you said, when I approached it and I told my friend like this name, I was like, dude, it just rolls right off the tongue nicely. I like it, lateral vision, and that's kind of how we came up with the name. And we started posting on it.
This is
2009.
2009 still.
You weren't part of.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
He's
there's
still
two
part
parts.
of your friend.
He's still my friend, but he's not
He
like
didn't
with lateral
pursue
vision
it with you.
Yeah, like
Okay.
there was kind of like so. This is what happened was, I was very young. I graduated in 07,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very young. I didn't know what to do. I was very kind of scared. I had some money, but $1,000 to $2,000 at the time was a lot of money for me. Me getting paid minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to school.
It's still a lot of money now, bro.
Yeah, I mean it's still a lot of money now. Yeah. Like it's a lot of money to
You got all
invest.
sorts of rugrats running around in there, man.
Maybe not for those
Yeah.
sneakers you have.
Yeah.
I just fuck with you, dude.
But
no, I get it.
It's like
Young kid.
it's you're a young kid, but it's a lot of money, and you don't know what. So I kind of gave up, and it was kind of what
I'd say put on hold.
Yeah, I gave.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
I'll say gave up, put on hold, but it was still going through my mind. I moved out, went to Long Beach, and Long Beach really inspired me very much. And I met a friend. His name is Kui. I told him about my idea. He had his own brand called Forever Ashbury. It was on Broadway. He had a store there. It's kind of creative space now. And he was like, "Listen, man, like you're young. Like if you mess up, it's totally fine because you're still young.
Yeah.
You could mess up all you want. You still got a couple years to make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so why don't you just pursue it and do it?" And because he had his own streetwear brand, he kind of helped me with, all right, this is what you do for your clothing. Here's a blank like supplier. If you want embroidery, I know a person. So I kind of started making ideas up. And I had a couple other friends that were very into graphic design where I started telling them like, all right, I'm going to create this finally. I want to do it. I'll pay you this much for a logo. We're telling my ideas. And I went probably through 2 or 3 friends creating these logos. And at the end of the logo, I was literally that guy that all the designers like hate because I was like, where you're just like, you're like, no, what if you changed this about the logo? Or what if you did that? And at the end, I still hated it. I never used them, but I appreciated their time and what they contributed. And so it wasn't until, again, I'm still in Long Beach. I was drinking, just chilling. I was just like on my laptop. And for some, I had very minimal like Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator skills at that
Keyword
time.
had.
Yeah, had. Yeah, I don't do it no
right?
more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it gone
no,
now.
it's gone. Yeah, there's no
just
coming
kidding,
back. And I created the logo, and kind of what the logo represented to me was moving forward. It's the waves, 3 waves, moving forward, momentum, and keep pushing. Because again, my buddy was the one that was like, just do it, just push forward, don't look back, just and it's to this day, a lot of people come up to me and tell me, dude, that logo is great.
Yeah.
And I kind of got inspired by the Nike logo. If you look at the Nike logo, it's very timeless. There's curves, there's points, which is the same with the Lateralvision logo.
And it's very simple.
And it's very simplistic.
That's
Yes,
that thing that I
Yeah.
like.
Very minimalistic.
Simple,
Yeah.
simple
Yeah.
things. I like
It's
simple.
accessible. It's
Yes.
very nice.
Yeah, and it represents, water at the end of the day, or it could represent mountains, or it could represent whatever you want. And I think that's kind of like where, I put the money down, created my first collection, and it was called the City Anglers Collection, which we just relaunched recently. It just kind of redid it.
How many pieces did you make when you did the first?
When I first launched, it was 6 SKUs, sorry.
Okay.
So it was City Anglers, and then there was I was very inspired by streetwear again, and it was an old English typography that said bass, which we're getting a lot of requests on right now. we'll think about it, but it's an OG. It caught the attention of Chris Lillis, and Chris was stoked on it. He's like, dude, can I get one? I was like, oh yeah, here's one. Like, so I started getting like a little hype going, but when I launched the collection, people didn't.
They weren't ready yet.
They weren't ready for that idea yet. It was too streetwear. It was too forward. It was too aggressive.
And this is 2000.
This is 2013-ish,
Okay.
late 13-ish, yeah.
Seems
And
right.
yeah, and
at that time, it was pelagic. It was AFCO. There was no salty crew.
Yeah,
there was
that's
no
the game changer.
Yeah.
Was kind of the salty crew.
Right.
yeah.
And it's weird thinking that Derek Tart started before Salty Crew, which
Yeah.
is
Is that
amazing.
crazy?
It's
Yeah.
And it took
sorry,
2
carry
G's.
on.
No, you're good. It took $2,000. It took $2,000. But eventually, with all the sales and this and that, just promotions, like, all right, it sold through fine. I was like, all right, cool. Like, now what's next? And then I started getting into typography, like the artistic side of lettering and this and that. And so I contracted like some guy that I loved. It said The Perfect Storm in the cool typography, very simplistic. So I put it on the front pocket, put it on the back. There was another design that I personally thought of, catch and release. Well, for the saltwater guys, they always, most of the time they keep yellowtail and tuna and this and that. So I thought about catch and decease.
It was hard. It was cool. It was a good one.
And I forgot what the third design was, but it was
The box one.
Oh yeah, the box. Yeah, that was like more on the streetwear side, and
It was
and
cool.
that
It was
one
clean.
sold. That collection sold a lot better. But it wasn't until this guy told me, he's like, "Where's the logo at?" Nick came up to me and we started talking via social media and we fished together. And he's like, I love your brand, this and that. And he's like, "Where's the logo at?" So that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it up to him to explain this next story on how we met, for him to join Lateral Vision.
Yeah.
That's the story. It's a huge props to him. That's it, everybody. See
for
you later.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
I'm out.
The craziest thing is that now me being attached to the brand for the last 4 years, but they come up to me like, dude, that Lateral logo you made is so good, and I'm like, I've been designing graphic design now for almost 12 years.
Okay.
So that's my job. That's what I do to make a living. When they're telling me that they think I did it, that's huge props to him because I spent my whole life trying to make cool logos that people remember, and he made one basically learning Illustrator for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And made this logo. So I just wanted to make sure
Thanks,
everyone
Steve.
knows out there in this podcast, I didn't design the logo. I just make it look a lot cooler now.
Let's make it clear now.
than what it did. Nick, tell him. Tell him.
Yeah.
And then so the Instagram thing had just gotten going. Again, like I had just got into fishing lures. I was like, seeing a little bit here and there. I've always been fishing spotties, but it was always bait. I'd bring like a big hammer with me and just chuck it around. I didn't really care though, but we were catching plenty on bait.
Yeah.
Still learning where to go in Newport. I spent a lot of my life in Newport Harbor, so I started noticing. I was working at DC Shoes at the time. I've been working in skateboarding for a long time, and I started seeing. I'm like, man, this fishing thing is kind of getting big on Instagram. Like, there's these guys like taking the time to take cool photos of fish. I'm like, usually we're just like, like when they do like the pinch lip, like, yeah, cool, and it's like a Polaroid or something stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is a real thing. And I was like, man, I want to try that. That looks cool. Like these guys are good fishermen. This is a cool way to show it. And so I connected with these two guys. Let me backtrack. Sorry. I had a clothing line at the time using my name, kind of like Hurley. So it was called the Narrant Design Company. I was making outdoor driven stuff. I had fish on shirts. I was a fisherman, so I was making fishing stuff.
Did you put it out in stores?
Yeah.
Or?
No, just online. It was like more of just like a real boutique, limited stuff. Like, I put it out to people I knew and they knew me, and they're, I started attracting fishermen though that were, just getting into the Instagram posting thing.
Yeah.
And, they're reaching out to me. I sent a few hats to some guys, and one of the guys I sent a hat to, his name's Cody Green. Came
Cody,
back.
He lives over here.
Yeah, Code Green on Instagram.
Oh, dude. Funny
Fantastic
story. Sorry for
fisherman.
cutting you off.
No, cut.
I went to get the pipe for my fucking barbecue.
Yeah.
My buddy owns a plumbing company. He's like, go to the supply house, Golden West. Use my account. So I had a Bass Pro shirt on and hardcore. I used to play in bands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the manager knew my band I played in.
Oh, cool.
So we're talking, and then the dude Cody comes up. I remember it. He's like, "You like fishing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I fish a lot." This is before the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Did you used to work at Save on Tackle?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And fucking.
Yeah.
So we talked. It was cool. Then I see a picture. I'm like, I fucking
Cody.
know that guy, dude. And I messaged him, and we went back and forth.
Sick.
I saw him actually. We launched last week, and he was with Randy Spicer fishing. And,
Yeah. I saw
and
that.
I was launching, and he pulls up. He goes, "Hey, bro." I'm like, "Oh fuck, hey, dude." Like I'm leaving, and we're talking, and
That's
I'm like,
sick.
"Yeah, I'm supposed to go fishing with him soon." Set it up because he lives not far.
No. He's,
Yeah.
like I said,
a fishy
I think his
dude.
last name's Smith. Sorry. I think I said Green because that's Code Green.
That's why.
Yeah, I think his last name is Smith.
Some fucking
His
guy
name's Cody.
Hey, Cast and Crank.
Please
Yeah.
confirm.
But yeah, major shout out to Cody though. So
Yeah.
so I gave him a hat. I sent him a hat for free, like because I knew like that's how you get hype,
Yeah.
just like what
Oh,
Derek
of course,
did.
you
And I
got
was
it.
like, sweet, And then he took me spotty fishing. He's like, hey, come fish me one night in Long Beach. Again, I never fished at night in my life. I'm like, wait, we're gonna go to do what? He's like, yeah. He's like, just come with me. And I linked up with him and Ron Hester, another local.
I know who that is too. Yeah.
Local, both fantastic fishermen.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, those guys took me under their wing. They're a little bit younger than me too, which is funny. They took me under their wing. They showed me the ropes. They really taught me how to fish spotties from shore and like target them correctly, fishing jigs, fishing swim baits.
Both and Cody's
Crankbait.
such a good spotty fisherman.
Oh my
dude.
gosh, he's fantastic. He's literally, he's so underrated. I in my mind, he's one of the better guys I know, and he's very good at it.
I
So
agree.
he's getting a major shout right now. So I hope he listens.
We're
to this
sucking
'cause
off Cody right now.
I know. I want them to know how much they made an impact on my fishing.
Yeah.
Again, been fishing my whole life, but there's a different type of fishing when you start fishing lures. It's a different mindset.
I agree with you,
It
100%.
becomes away from fishing and becomes sport fishing, not like marlin or but you're taking it serious to the point where you're going to put some time in. You're not just going down there to sit there and watch a rod tip for all day.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Instagram thing starts going. I'm like, I told my wife one day, I'm like, I'm going to get into this. Like, I'm going to start going every night. I'm going to try to get big spotties. I'm going to post cool photos of them.
So hold on, have you been married since the whole?
I've been
Lateral
married.
Vision?
Yeah. So 4 years now.
You've been married for how long?
4 years.
4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you did a little adventure with the wife around.
Yeah, she didn't. She supports
That's what
me.
a great. Yeah.
Yeah,
We always
she,
try to say thank you to the wives on
Oh
the
yeah,
Yes.
so I was
Shout
gonna
out.
save that for the end, but I mean, I'll tell my wife now, Stephanie, you're awesome. But she supports. She knows I'm that type of personality where I gotta go do stuff. Like I'm a jittery. I don't like sitting
You're
around at
nonstop,
home. Like,
dude.
I'd rather go run around Long Beach in the
Nonstop.
port at night and
Yeah.
run away from tweakers and all sorts of stuff than sit there. Yeah, I got fun stories on that one. We'll go fish together and I'll tell you some of those. But anyway, so I'm like, I'm gonna get into this Instagram. I hate saying it like that, but I'm gonna focus more on catching and sharing my side of it, showing that like, hey, like this is a fun thing that I like to do. I've been creative my whole life. I like taking cool photos. I surf photography for 8-9 years.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just the reality of it. And flipping through Instagram again, I have my own brand, but I'm like, it's just not quite like, I don't think it's gonna fit in with these guys what they're doing. And again, I just started getting in the scene, meeting the right people, meeting all these cool cats that I followed and looked up to and respected. Like, man, that guy's a great fisherman. Wow, that guy's a great fisherman. And then come across this brand called Lateralvision. And I'm like, I was like, dang, dude, this freaking guy is doing exactly what I want. Like, I want to, again, like I'm an entrepreneur. I love to make clothing lines. I'm a graphic designer. So it's like, it makes it easier for me to make a quick clothing line and think of something creative. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I don't want to do Narrant Design Co. anymore. I want to do like a fishing brand. So like, I've been thinking of names. I'm sitting there fishing, like come across Lateral Vision. I'm like, this freaking guy already took my idea, or like
Yeah.
he's already doing exactly what I want. He's got a clean logo. He's got a cool aesthetic, great looking website, great photography, everything. I'm like, dang it. I'm like, well, since I'm in this mode where I'm just trying to catch fish, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy a hat and I'm gonna get posted on that dang Instagram. I'm gonna work my absolute butt off to get posted by this guy. No clue who this guy was sitting next to me, and work my absolute butt off, dude. I'm wearing this hat. It's salted over. It's fried. Doesn't fit anymore. And I keep tagging Derek. Please. Like this. Like, come on, dude. Like, notice me.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, I'm all new into this stuff. I don't know the whole. I didn't know anybody at the time. And finally, I catch like this really good calico in my float tube. I went like kicked out to a break wall in a certain zone that I'm not gonna say, but I kicked out to the zone in my tube, fishing calicos on like a break wall. Caught like a 6.5 in my tube on a jerkbait. It was sick. Like one of my
Outside or inside?
first calico of my life.
Outside the break wall or inside?
Outside.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
pretty
It
gnarly.
was pretty gnarly. I had a buddy that was like, yeah, we'll be fine. I'm like, okay. Flip, flop. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
scary. But anyway, I'm going to fish because that's my mind was like, I don't care. I'll get bit. Like,
Yeah.
let's just go do it. I try not to think about it. We kick out there and we do it. And like fourth cast, I get like a 6.5, 6-pounder. First calico of my life was like a giant. I have all these cool photos. I'm wearing the LV
That
hat.
was your biggest at the time?
At the time was like, yeah,
Oh.
probably. We didn't have a scale, so I'll go even lower. I'll go 5-pounder.
Either way,
four
that's
pounder.
fucking legit.
When you've caught
Yeah.
calicos that are 6 inches in the harbor and you go to catching a 4, 5, maybe 6, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, beautiful rock bat, like just dark, great checkers, old fish. You could totally tell. Pulled so hard, got him out of the rocks. In a float tube was the sickest thing.
Yeah.
So much fun. So finally, I get posted by Derek. I'm like, sweet, like this is awesome.
Took long enough, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he saw me, and I think he started noticing that I designed. So
Yeah.
I was doing projects for Reeves Lures.
Okay.
I did a project for Lowdown Customs. I've done projects for Fish Head Customs. You just had on.
Yeah.
Yep, I did Eric's logo.
Oh, no
Yep.
way, dude.
And I used my design skill to help people that were in fishing already in the space. I'm like, I love these dudes. I didn't, like I said, if it's something I actively like doing, I'll give a good rate and I'll just try to help them out and do what I can. Like Eric, we just did like a crankbait trade. He painted me a bunch of really
Yeah.
rad cranks.
That's cool.
Gave it to me.
Yeah.
So I get posted. All of a sudden, I get a direct message one day from Lateral Vision. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
This is
the
it,
moment.
baby. This
The
is
moment
it.
came.
The moment came, and
It's
Derek's
so
like,
funny because so many people have had the same feeling as you.
I know.
You know, it's like
it's
I've
so
had
dumb,
the same
but
feeling. It's like when I get that in the beginning,
And you
waiting
see
for
it.
that guest that I'm always checking my DMs. I'm like, oh, is this a person? Please let it be this person.
yeah, exactly.
And I remember getting Evan,
Nice.
and that was
Oh,
like,
man.
oh fuck, he wants to come on. Are you fucking kidding me? I
Evan's
was like,
so rad. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the first person, like, dude, I had Tito.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do it on Thanksgiving Day. I'm like, if I do that, my wife will fucking
She's
shoot
gonna
me,
lock
dude.
you in the room.
I'm
and
like,
you're
I
not
can't
coming
do
out.
it, and we were gonna reschedule.
Yeah.
That was like in the beginning, but I haven't got him to get
Sick.
back on. But
Oh.
yeah, I know the feeling. It's like everyone knows that feeling.
Of
You're waiting
course,
for that
and
one.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I'm in the now. We're in the reality of
Yeah.
where posting cool photos of fish is reality.
Yeah,
I'm not
dude.
going to hate on it. It's like whatever. Doesn't matter to me.
Mhm.
So I get that message, and Derek's like, "Hey, you have a great eye for design. Like, we should meet up." I'm like, "Sweet." I'm like, "Absolutely, dude. Like, let's do it." Because he had just posted my photo, so like I met up with him at Umami Burger over in Santa Ana because I
Yep.
live right around the corner.
That's amazing.
And then the craziest thing is I was at work. I get a phone call from a random number, and it's him. And he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm excited for our dinner tonight." I'm like, I'm used to dealing with a lot of clients,
Yeah.
customers. No one's never been like that excited to meet with me about a design thing. So I'm like, wow, like this is so fun and cool. This is a great guy. We meet up for dinner. I meet him. We have one, a great dinner. We talk about the brand. He tells me his side. I'm like, yo, I was about to like poach your brand because
Yeah.
you have it exactly what I wanted to do. I was
Yeah.
pretty transparent, but I'm like, hey, like if you can't, I've learned from the past, like if you can't beat them, join them if they're good people.
Yeah.
If they have the same vision. We like had this great like dinner. We talked it out. I literally had just got back from float tubing and I had sandals on and like I smelled like salt. I probably smelled so bad.
Spotties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally Newport Harbor dumped my tube in my room and then like went over to the restaurant. Like
Yeah.
it was so fun. So he could tell I was a fishy dude, and I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
So we have that one dinner. We go back, back to normal. I'm like, thinking about we had it, and we had another dinner like probably the next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
No joke. I walk into that dinner. We sit down, same spot at the bar, everything. We order a couple beers. I'm like, hey, I got this amount of money. I'm like, I want to buy a quarter of the brand right now. And this guy's like, I remember his face. He was like, what? can I think about it? Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
like-
I'm like, I got, this is my money I got right now. I can literally help you build I'll help you build this line. I want in, let's go down this road right now. And by the end of it, he ended up convincing me, like, just give me one night to think about it. He called me the next morning. He's like, let's go. Let's do this. Let's have fun.
So that's when it started really taking
That's when
off.
it really,
Yep.
yeah.
So it's a funny story of like, I went for it and
Yeah.
and so then on, we designed our first line. I mean, we were meeting up. All the inventory was in his garage. We were shipping out of the
That
warehouse.
was a struggle, man. That was taking all the
hard.
stuff that you go to the post office, taking all these boxes.
40
'Cause that's
boxes, you
I
know.
tried to do
taking
that
off.
with fucking 100 shirts.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
I
it's-
just about wanted to kill him. I
Dude.
gave away half of them because I
Yeah.
got so fucking mad. I'm like, fuck this, dude. It's too much work.
yeah, man.
I'm like, fucking, it's cool and it helped a little bit,
Yeah.
but I made my money back. That was it.
That's good.
Dude,
see,
that's-
as long
You
as
know, it's like,
you get the word
and
out
I
there.
gave away fucking the other half. I'm like,
Marketing
ah,
though, man. People, that's a great graphic Justin did. Like I said,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you better give me one today. I'm not leaving your house. I'll sleep in your pool. I don't care until I get one. No, I'm just kidding. So it was a cool, like, just like-minded. We just had the same vision. I caught him off guard, with a check and been like, let's go. Either this or no. Or I'm
Well,
gonna.
the thing, you were fucking serious, man. You didn't. You were
Dead
messing
serious.
Yeah, I
around,
was serious, man.
I
He
brought
did-
a check.
I
I
understood.
was ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understood that because I had graphic designer friends before.
He was contracting.
I was
designers.
contracting people, but because they weren't fishermen, they didn't understand what I was trying to go for when it came to designs. Because when we try to design stuff, whether it's collections or anything, we want to tell a story behind it. And if it's just me telling the story and the designer doesn't get the story, then the design doesn't look what it's supposed to look like. And that's why I was like, when I saw him and I saw his designs, I was like,
Perfect
we gotta
marriage
connect,
right
perfect
there,
pair.
man.
You understand the slang, you understand what's going on, you understand the species, the baits. You get the whole thing. So when I invited him on, it was just, stoked to fucking meet you, bro. It's like a friend for life. And then when you create a brand, you want to have a personality and a certain perspective. Again, going back to the creating designs, telling a story within your design. We had one of our first shirts, one of our best-selling shirts, Report All Poachers. I think you saw some guy with a bucket full of spotties that were under. Yeah,
I'm talking like 7-10-inch bodies in a bucket. I wanted to kick it over. I tried to kick it over when I walked by him. I tried to pretend like I tripped and tried to dump it into the bay, but I didn't want to get into like I said, it's only a couple fish, but it just more makes you upset. It's like,
of course.
yeah,
these guys, man.
So yeah, even there's a couple other designs like Make Fishing Lame Again.
I like that one.
Which is, it's a whole take on make America great again. But the way we saw it, this was released maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
But it has some truth to it. That's the funny.
Yeah, we saw it. When we say it, it's kind of ironic.
Yeah,
it's
just
kind
a
of like
joke,
funny.
dude.
Exactly, it's a funny thing. And I remember showing it we were at the Fred Hall show when we released this shirt.
Oh yeah, this is a good.
And the guy was like, older gentleman, doesn't wearing freaking dad shoes. Like, what is that supposed to mean? Make fishing lame again. I was like, oh dude, it's a joke. Like tapping on the back, like dude, it's a joke. It's ironic. It's supposed to be ironic. And he was like, that's not good, man. I don't like that. And he was so pissed. And he walked away. And I was still smiling because I was like trying to tell him the story and I was so excited. And he walked away, but the younger generation got it. Again, one of our other best-selling shirts, and that's what we want to do. We want to create stories within our collections.
Yeah,
and we create cool videos.
You do. Your guys' stuff is amazing.
Thank you.
We try to create cool videos. I think around the time that I met him, I released the Creating Waves video, and I'm very influenced by hip hop. I'm a hip hop listener from Eazy-E, Snoop Dogg, all the way to the new guys now. And a lot of those videos had a lot of instrumentals, huh? I get it, but I get it, I won't listen to it, but I get it, but that's, yeah. And when I created that video, it was my vision of what I did. I woke up and, Jason was part of this video, Jason Baschak on Instagram, Jason Corden.
Another guy I've hit up.
Yeah,
We're supposed to. No, he's gone back and forth.
Sick.
Yeah, same person.
He's dope, man.
Because his paint, dude.
Very intelligent.
I'm a big airbrush guy.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Jason is.
I'm really interested
killing.
in that. Same thing with the fish head. I used to do it before a long time ago because I mean, that's like a good art. Like I really like it.
I think Nick tried doing it for a little bit too.
Yeah,
it's fucking hard.
Yeah, I caught, but I painted 5 baits. I caught on all of them though.
Oh,
So
I have.
I was stoked.
That's so sick.
Dude,
yeah,
I did.
They were not good though.
I foiled. I got my wife's.
wow,
Dude,
you
I got
went-
my wife's. She does hair, so she had these fine foils. So I foiled the Lucky Crafts because that's what I used to throw all the time.
Nice. Yeah.
And the swim wasn't as good, but you would you epoxy it once, then paint, and then it kind of looked really cool. But
Yeah.
it didn't swim right.
Yeah,
It just didn't swim right. I'm like, oh, but you guys everything you guys put out is like very interesting. Catches the eye. Which is really cool.
Outside the box is what I try to go for with anything that we do. I tell him like when we create designs or videos or.
And do you guys have pros on your team or sponsored people?
Yeah, we have like a team. Yeah, it's like
No-
Jason.
no pros, though.
It's not like a pro thing.
like-
yeah.
Like we
Your
don't
pro
have
staff.
we don't have like
Yeah.
Brandon Polnick or
Yeah.
like
No.
I wish that'd be great.
Yeah,
Brandon,
I know,
what's
right?
up?
No, it's like Parker,
Jason.
Jason, Grady Cod. You gotta help me with this.
I know I'm trying. Let's see.
You guys know who you are.
Yeah.
But no, we have a good team that when we reach out to them, they know what to do when they want to capture imagery for us, or when they do tournaments, wearing our stuff, making sure that they're wearing it. But one of the things that I learned was when we met Parker through I think Instagram, and we all fished with him. He's another great attribute to the brand. Like
he pushed us in a different way that
was so good because his vision. Again, he's a very good fisherman. So because he's a very good fisherman, he's very detailed in everything that he does. So when it comes to photography, he was like our best guy.
He did the video, didn't he?
he just did one called Nonstop. It's on YouTube.
That's a great video.
Fantastic
Yeah.
And interesting fact is a lot of the music that you hear in those videos is music that he creates.
Really?
Yeah. So that
he's good. He's a beat maker. He's an instrumental guy. He plays piano.
You got to, because then you don't get paid if you get paid too many. That's why I did I used another band song for the intro.
Oh yeah.
Then I'm like, I just have my kid play the drums and I'll fucking play guitar and bass.
Yeah.
So I just wrote it myself. Yeah, exactly.
I sing it in my head every time I
And
go
I'm
fishing
like,
now.
I fucking hate this song more than anything. I thought about changing it twice, and I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking leave it. I don't give a shit anymore.
For sure.
Yeah.
But no, you got that's super interesting too. Like that's very creative.
Yeah.
I think adding the right people, like Parker was like, it's just crazy how he started himself. He added me in the design, and then Derek and met Parker and we added him kind of to the roster of the founders. I would want to say Derek's the true founder, but I felt like me and Parker brought a cool video and design element to the brand.
Does he do the video for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's done multiple videos for us.
Yeah, so
right now he's focusing a lot on tournament fishing. That's kind of his dream.
We just support him when he needs clothes, when he needs hats, and whatever else we can do. Let him fish because he wants to be a pro fisherman. That's what he wants to do for his job. And the only way you're going to do that is by doing what he's doing. You got to grind it out. You got to keep hustling on these small tournaments and hope that you get the big recognition one day. And if we want to help him do that as much as we can.
We're very laid back. Like when we do stuff, we're very laid back.
Very skateboard brand.
When we do our brand, when we work together, we try to just do our thing and not sure you got to worry about numbers, but we try to make it fun. Because when we stress out, we're not the true selves.
It's never the same.
No, and we get we go back and forth sometimes. We argue. We're like, no, this and that. We're like, all right, take it easy. Let's relax. And no, this is a good way.
No. I was laughing because everyone listening out there, like we get in the gnarliest arguments about stuff,
and then
something stupid.
But then at the very end of it, it's like,
all right,
bro,
I'll see you later.
Yeah, sure, let's go to the wall.
We're like, all right, dude, all right, cool.
But that's passion.
Yeah, that's passion.
What I mean? If you don't have that for a brand, you're just Googling fish and putting it on tees. That's what you're doing.
At the end of the day, this guy's my brother. He's like your brother. You're gonna argue with brother when you have two different.
If you're not, like my mom and dad, and they have always told me to put passion in everything you do, even if that's the goal. You argue with your family, your friends, and your people that you respect, and I think that's why arguing in human society exists, is because it does get to. It really makes you feel like you're both working towards a collective good, and every time we argue. Again, we're not fist fighting, but I mean, they're pretty intense. Yeah. We know that the outcome is probably going to be the best option because there's no selfishness in it. So that's why it's cool. The passion mixed with the arguing and the boxing glove matches are totally worth it. And they've been some of our best selling products, best video edits, best garments, period. So pretty cool. But
what's your guys' outlook for the future? Like, what's your plan?
I think our next plan is, so we're online based only right now. It's all on the website, but I think it's time we take baby steps, right? We don't want to just blow up and then fall off.
We're self-funded, so we didn't.
Yeah, we don't take money out.
We don't take money out.
Everything goes right back in. And again, that goes back to because when we see people rocking our stuff, that's our joy. That's honestly, that's our excitement. When we see people stoked on our stuff, I'm so excited, man. Like that's what we do it for you guys to be rocking our stuff, rocking the logo, and getting DMs of you wearing our stuff with fish, nice fish, your best. Man. Yeah. It gives me joy.
Motivation too to like not give up because it gets hard running. With the podcast, it's hard, but you have no idea probably how many people are stoked on this podcast that I talked to. They're like, dude, I listened the other day and that's so awesome.
We were stoked when we got your message. We were like,
oh
dude,
my gosh, I was so
like,
hyped.
Yeah, texting Nick. I was like, all right, dude, I'm good. I'm good to go.
I'll come tomorrow, Nick. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's like, it's just cool seeing.
Yeah, when you make something and people. Yeah. To me, it was like I said it before. It was like when I was in a band, I put a demo out. Nice. And you would go to a show and you'd have like 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 people start showing up and singing your music.
That's real. And
it's like, that's what this is kind of like. When I had the live event, I was like, all right, let's see how many people really fucking like the podcast. And there's like, there's a lot of people. Really, so it was like, it's fun. It's like playing in a band to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it takes me out of my comfort zone because I fucking hate talking. It sounds like I don't, but I mean, meeting new people, I'm usually don't talk to new people. Like when I'm doing stuff, but it's like cool meeting new people.
Yeah,
kind of opened me up to like go, wow, there's a lot of cool people out there. To meet,
No, totally. And I mean, to get back to your question, the next step for us will be to go wholesale, which we've been holding back on for a long time, just because we wanted to make sure the back end stuff was right.
So then, are you going to go through a distributor? Or are you going to?
So
either or.
Okay.
I mean, right Derek now, can answer that.
No, I mean, like right now, so we have a third partner, and his name is Jeff. Mm-hmm. Jeff is an older gentleman that is our friend. Nick knew him from a previous job.
Yes.
And he taught, we're still learning to this day. Business is something you just keep learning every day. You don't know everything.
Yeah.
Unless, you're freaking Bill Gates or something. But,
we are not that.
Yeah. And he taught us all the back end stuff that we needed to know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been such a big help with providing, he has a company called Craftwork. And Craftwork is the one that boxes up the orders, ships it out. We utilize our friends, which are employees as well, that do all the social media kind of back end stuff like statistics and promotions and email blasts or this and that. And he's really the one that has pushed us to really take this more seriously. So shout out to him, to Noah, to Cole, to all those guys that really have helped us to get bigger.
Yeah,
where we're at today.
Going from like the shipping out at like where Derek and I were meeting up on Saturdays, going to his house, picking through the garage for orders and printing them all out from the week and jamming them all out of his room.
You guys don't. You have third party print everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
very close friend of ours, Brandon,
who approached us at Fred Hall.
Yeah, Fred Hall many years ago. Saw us on Instagram. Was like, hey, he has a brand or a screen printing facility called ID Supply Co.
Mm-hmm. Great
guys over there. They focus on quality. They're brand guys, so they know our stuff.
They're in the next street over.
They're literally so it feels like it's in house because I walk over and I'll go look at screens. I'll look at ink colors. I'll quality control everything. But most of the days I trust those guys and. Yeah. That was a huge part of the business when I came aboard. It was like, hey, who are you screen printing with? Because, like, as a designer, I want to know my screen printer like the back of my hand because when you get to know those guys, like, the product gets better because they see how passionate you are. They see how, like, I guess, overly detail-oriented you are. And they know, like, okay, Nick wouldn't approve that, so, like, we're not going to charge you for that. Or, like, text me real quick and be like, yo, like, look at this ink color. Is this cool? Oh, yes, that's exactly what I want. Yeah. Cool, let's go.
Yeah.
Because that little stuff makes the difference. So working with the third partner is very helpful, but he's also feels like part of the brand and part of the family.
Okay. Definitely part of the family.
I'd say I'd put it like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything is basically outsourced. We don't do anything in-house other than design, marketing, business, finances, accounting.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
All the
that's
fun
the stuff that I was like.
But we didn't know that stuff. Like
we didn't know.
You don't when you're young and you're like from street and skate. Like it's like we don't need to register this. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We learned that a few years ago. Hard like. You got to dig in, and that's if you want to run this thing for real. It went from a hobby to a business real quick, and that's when we're like, okay, this feels. It actually was relieving.
Yeah, and it was. Cool, it was like a deep breath because now we could focus on what we got to do. Like really focus
accounting
on the product.
and all that stuff, dude. Like you got to pay attention to all that stuff because you're like, yeah, we're killing it, and then you go look, you're like, and our accountant's like, you're not killing it.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But that got real a few years ago. We figured it out,
Yeah.
and now it's like we can truly focus on the creativity, the videos, the photos, the fun of the brand, and the essence of what it is. And that's why we'll literally design a collection, stay up till 10, 11 at night, and then we'll go, hey, let's go to the wall. Let's just go fish. Like, we try our best to keep the fun, but work hard though, because we know the harder we work on the water, maybe we'll get ideas, maybe we'll get good. We're always gonna get good videos and photos.
and videos.
I've dunked 2 SLRs. I've broken 6 GoPros. I mean, yeah, it's not.
Dude.
But you know what I mean? Like that's what we go through
Yeah.
to get noticed, and that's how much really effort you got to put in. Like, that's the effort that I guess that we would feel. We wouldn't feel as accomplished if we didn't put that type of effort in.
Yeah.
Everything we both do in our daily jobs, that's how we operate, and we're like, that's how we are, our brand's gonna operate the same.
Yeah.
Easy as that. We're gonna fish just as hard as we work on the stuff that people see.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Like, we were excited to come on to let people know how much effort and passion and
we
time we put into that
No,
stuff.
I feel like
it's
you
not
guys
just crap,
are like
you know.
the companies, because there's a lot of companies.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
I
ton.
feel like you guys are the higher echelon, you know.
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Wow.
I do.
That
I
means a
mean,
lot.
your
Thank you.
quality and your.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I mean, so it might help, and I like having people like you on for maybe smaller companies that are trying to go.
Yeah.
And they can you know listen to this and be like, oh, this is what Lateral Vision kind of did.
Yeah.
This is kind of like, maybe I should take a little more time to focus on this, or maybe take a little more time to like
100%,
focus on my
man.
promotion, or you know.
We're all for it too.
My suggestion would be, like, for any smaller companies that are trying to stay out, they're trying to be entrepreneurs and start their own thing, clothing, with fishing or outdoors. Like, you know, create your own identity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make sure you stay active with the people that already follow you, and create, you know, a good business plan, and just create a personality with your brand that resonates with who you're trying to reach out to.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing. And if it takes, you know, I used to go to Fred Hall show.
Did you guys have a booth there last year?
Not this past
Last
season. We
3
held out
before.
because we're gonna do an event in July at close to where our offices are at.
Yeah, we're gonna do like a little warehouse.
Oh,
Yeah,
are
because
you
we wanted to
doing
put the
that?
money
we're gonna.
there.
You're getting an invite.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
cool,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Should be fun.
barbecue, like
Yeah,
clothing. But I used to sell garments and hats out of my backpack. Like, that's
Hustle.
a cliche. Yeah, like I literally
Fred Hall?
paid
At
$20
Fred Hall.
to go in so I could get these hats to certain people, like Chris.
And you gotta give your stuff out.
you gotta get your stuff out there,
Right?
and that's the way you do it. Yeah.
In the beginning, I'm sure you gave.
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
gave
it.
a lot of stuff
The
away,
hat.
man.
The hat.
And you're
Drop.
hoping, you're hoping that, like, you know, I got a lot of props from Warbaits, Afran.
Yeah.
Again, I keep saying Chris because Chris was a very
Yeah.
strong supportive. He's still
And
supportive to this day.
I think he's helped us so much.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris is
Yeah,
a
'cause
down
he's
for.
a
Yeah.
great guy. Like, and
Yeah.
if he thinks something's cool, man, he'll back it.
Yeah.
You know, like, so.
Yeah, and Billy, you know, we had a lot of supporters too, like Billy K. Like,
Yeah.
you had a lot of the people that you had on
Salve.
the show. Evan Salve
Salve,
was
yeah.
a huge
Salve was wearing
supporter.
our stuff for
Yeah.
a while before
Yeah.
Pelagic, so that
Yeah.
was. I mean, just to have him wearing a Lateral hat. Like, I remember I was new to the brand, and seeing a photo of Evan with like this massive bluefin with a Lateral hat was the coolest thing. And I'm really happy for him now with being with. I think he's still with Pelagic.
Yeah.
Again, we weren't mad.
Yeah,
we
you
get
do-
it. Like,
do what you
we
gotta
get
do,
it. But the
yeah.
fact that we even had him for a summer,
stuff.
it's like, what? That's so
That
cool.
helped, yeah, promotional wise.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just
I mean, it's when he was catching a lot of, like, when the first wave of the bluefin came through. That's when
he was
started wearing our
stomping
stuff.
it.
Dude, I still haven't caught a bluefin tuna. So anybody out there that wants to take me, let me know, dog.
I haven't even caught a yellowtails.
Oh, dude,
Every podcast, you
dude.
keep saying
Yeah.
I
that.
know, see?
But
I know people are getting fucking mad. They're like, shut the fuck up, man.
don't
We
care.
know you haven't caught a
Yeah.
yellowtail.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Dude.
I'm gonna call it the Jerk Shad podcast.
Yeah, right? That's my go-to.
Dude.
Man. I love it so
Dude,
much.
that was when I
Dude.
first got into it back when like I was fishing with Ron and Cody. It does work fantastic.
Dude,
for the, like
it's, to me,
it's a
it's
great
the same
bait.
as fishing a hookup bait.
It's fair.
To me.
It's fair.
I'm going to say it's the same. I mean, you could work it a couple
Oh, okay.
different ways, but it works so
sled
well,
head.
dude.
The sled
That
head.
I've got, Dark Sleeper has been more my thing.
Yes.
Oh, the dark sleeper, man. I'm a
I
believer
love
in
it,
that,
yeah.
dude.
You don't need to change your trailer. You don't need to do anything.
Nothing.
Just drill that thing off the bottom.
Jig
Let
it.
that
Dude, I had
suck
my
it
first
down.
one that broke apart. I never had 35.
That's hard.
35 fish.
Wow.
35
Yeah.
fish deep? Nice, dude.
And
out
it
to-
broke apart. I'm like, I don't mind paying this all day, dude.
Yeah.
If you give me
Yeah.
that many fish off this, like, dude.
That's dude. Think of like plastics like you would go
Dude,
through normally.
right?
Like my whole boat right now, like the bottom of my boat is filled with Kitex
Dude.
and MCs,
Right?
Recons.
What's your go-to bait? Like, let's say what's your if you were to pick one bait only fresh or salt, what bait would it be?
Which one do you want me to answer? Fresh or salt?
No, fresh or salt, whichever. you
Generalized bait.
Yeah.
Fresh, I would say if I was just going like to a lake I didn't know and I was just wanted to see if there was big fish would follow a swim bait, it'd probably be that is Mike Gilbert's Working Class Zero Battle Shad.
Yeah,
I
dude,
love that
thing's
bait.
cool as
That's a
shit.
great bait
Nice.
for just if you're a novice swim bait guy. That's a great bait because it's weedless, it swims great. You can bang it into stuff and
Yeah.
it really gets you into it. Minus the HUD too. HUD is number one. Like if you're not a swim bait guy, a HUD is a great option for
Yeah.
that. But saltwater, for spotties, it would probably be like an underspin or some kind of tailspin.
Yeah, I'm a believer in that.
Yeah,
dude.
you saw it
Now-
yesterday. We went to San Diego Bay yesterday. Yeah, we cracked on them pretty good. Derek,
Really?
yeah. Bobby, I think, mentioned it, this certain bait in the live, so I'll just keep it at that. But Derek got his first one, and he's like,
on the bait, on the bait,
Pretty
first
sick.
one on the bait, and
Yeah.
and then
So-
I got it stuck to my knee. Unfortunately,
I did.
you
I
saw that. Yeah, that was Derek's knee. It was pretty funny.
It was like sick.
But
I think I know what you're talking. There's a couple sitting over
oh, there you go. Sweet. There you go. You know it. But yeah, so like I'm a blade bait guy. I'm a power fisherman. So I get yelled at a lot by my friends that fish slow when they come with me because I'm on the TM on 50, 60, and I'm working bank hard. Yeah, because that's how I feel like saltwater. That's how you find bigger bites and you find patterns is by moving a lot.
Do you
know?
like fishing spotty a little more than calico?
No, I literally have Hopper Doggies calicos tattooed on me.
Oh, really?
Because I fell in love with spotties because all I had at the time was shore fishing abilities. But my first calico trip, that first calico on that break wall in my float tube, I knew that was meant for
That's
me.
your
And I
thing.
love calico
Yeah.
bass. They are my favorite thing. So every time I see Decker, Landisfine, Matt Koch, Kill Switch,
Yeah.
Seas,
Yeah.
all those dudes, anytime they talk, I listen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't
Very-
fight. I don't do anything to plug my ears. Like I want to listen to everything those guys say and take every little piece and put it into my little, Nick Calico bank.
Yeah, dude.
And
it's
and
information.
and information is more. And then put my time on the water and be like, oh man, I remember when or like Jerry Mayhew opened my eyes to a lot of like line changes with different baits. Like, hey,
Yeah.
fish light for these, fish heavy with this amount of leader, this amount of leader, 12 inch, 14, 2 feet. So I've just, every single dude that I know knows their stuff. I listen like a book and I just want to learn and then go out and put my time in and just learn, fail. And,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. But what about you? Give me your top freshwater bait.
Freshwater bait. You already know what that is. I call it the
Senko.
fish finder. Yeah. Yeah, it's the Senko, man. The Senko gets bit anywhere, everywhere, no matter what you're doing. That's definitely my go-to
Is that just
bait.
Texas rigged?
No, it's just fly line.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
on
right.
fly
Yep.
line. Whether I'm flipping, I'll do it on straight braid, or if I'm, just throwing it out, pretty light line. But it definitely gets bit.
Hi.
That's Nick's child walks in.
See ya.
What a champ.
That's so dope.
I know.
That was
He's
awesome.
like, I know where he's at.
Nick shutting the door.
I don't want to cut his little toes or something.
I know.
Saltwater bait, a crankbait, man. The crankbait I just fell in love with. It's just such
Too
a
fun.
good.
Nick, get on the jam, dude.
Yeah,
I'm telling
dude, crankbait
you
is-
won't regret it, man.
I bought
Dip
them
that
all. I
rod
bought a
down.
lot from Leifson.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Jeff fishes the crank really well.
dude,
Yeah.
he showed me some stuff. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah. What about you?
Me
Nick.
right now. Hey, Rig.
Hey, Rick.
Sorry.
You were actually out the other morning when I was on the inside of the wall and you guys were fishing the outside and I was.
Oh, was
Yep.
I?
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Now that you see my boat, huh? Yeah.
No, I heard a bunch of guys yelling. I was like, no, what is that? No, I was kidding. No, I saw your I saw that nice photo of that.
Oh,
sandbass you
yeah,
caught. That
yeah.
was sick.
So yeah, I mean, right now I try everything. When someone a slug,
Yeah.
I've been fishing a slug more. At the wall, I'll fish the 2 ounce war bait head with a like a grub or something.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
It's
But it all depends. Like whatever new I can try. I just try to get away because I get too comfortable throwing jerk shads all the time or throwing,
the
Yeah,
go-tos.
dude,
Yeah.
but-
And
Hey.
it's just you get comfortable, dude. It's easy to just go. I just want to catch a fish.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like as I got into calico fishing now, for I've been actively calico fishing for about 4 years only. Maybe 5 total. But it's crazy the amount of like when you find something that works well that maybe no one else is doing your way. It's cool when it
Yes.
works and you're like, oh wow, that was like so rewarding.
Our
And, like,
line, dude.
it's
Line,
crazy.
I've learned about line how, like you said, it makes such a big difference.
I fish with so many different dudes too now. Like I fish with Eric. I've fished with like Randy Spicer and all the kicker
Yeah.
guys. I've fished with Derek Lowe from Recon Baits, like all these different people, and they all have different things. And I'm like, oh gosh, because I'm still kind of young in it, so I have to listen, like I said, and it's crazy. Like, you go with Jerry, he's like on 8-pound, like on a crankbait.
Right.
You go with Randy, he's on 40-pound with 65. You go with I don't know, like some of my buddies fish 30, 40. Some guys go up to 80. It's like, dude, it's so
I went
much.
with Benny, dude, on a trip, and Benny was using 40 to the kicker clips.
Yep.
And I'm like, you don't think clips matter? He's like, nope. You'll catch fish. I'm like, all right. He's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he was using like a Terramar with a 200 size. Reel.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is like, I changed my eyes a little bit, you know, like.
Benny's got some big fish too.
Dude, he's a legend.
Did you see that sand bass he caught like a couple weeks ago? 9-pounder.
Dude. Yep. A 9-pound, dude. That thing was rolling like. Just
so gnarly.
Yeah.
I saw Benny at the ramp the other day. And,
did you?
Yeah, I finally because I know who he is, and I've passed him before and waved to him and said hello, and always respected him on all the old videos, and finally got to meet him at the boat wash the other day, and we were just wrapping it out, and he's such a great guy.
You usually launch out of Los Alamitos?
I do. It's a 3-day brain. Where am I going to go?
I love
Alamitos though. Yeah. Cabrillo. I don't see like that's far from me.
It's far, yeah. That's the.
I don't mind just running because my boat kind of sips gas right now, so I can run from Los Al all the way to the port.
Engines up?
15 horse, 4-stroke Merc.
There you go.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah.
Damn.
I did 19 miles an hour the other night coming back from the wall.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Wind up my back, dude. I was blazing. It's a Tillers, but
is it?
It's casting platformed out. I mean, it's a pretty boat.
It's perfect for the bay and the wall.
Yeah.
It's is it a the V or
DV, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I could take a little bit of beating. I have a lot of batteries because I have an 80-pound thrust trolling motor on the front.
Oh,
so
man.
I move with
huh?
Yeah, well, because I knew like the guy I bought it from fishes a certain lake with a lot of sticks, a lot of heavy cover inside in the shallow, and he was the type of guy that was like, watch this. He puts it on 90, just goes through like full trees.
Yeah.
But he gets bit because he goes to these. It's an aluminum boat. You can beat it up, lift the motor a little bit, don't get caught. And he would plow through this stuff. I'm like, man. So when I bought it, I was like, ooh, I can get out of kelp with that.
Yeah.
So I get wrapped up in the kelp, put it on 90, and just wiggle it around and get out of the kelp a little bit.
Yeah, that's how I have the 70 thrust.
Yeah.
One.
Dude,
but the iPilot.
But I have a 14-foot aluminum.
Yeah, that's
what's funny. Mine's like way overrated. So
I wish I would have got probably like 100.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
because
your
it's
boat,
like
for
it
sure.
would have been just a little more.
Yeah.
And I got two batteries on that one too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So I have 3 batteries on my boat, and it's really heavy. So I have to just be really careful when it's windy. Like we came back from the wall the other day, and there was like
it was sketchy.
Probably 4-second interval at like 3 or 4. Only 3-foot wind shot, but for a 14-foot boat that's overweight.
It depends where you launched at it. Yeah. Because you had that little
stupidly
jump
did Huntington.
Dude, that's what I do not do at night.
No, this was the daytime thing.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, that was scary. We were like, hey, where the life vest at? Like, just making sure we know just in case. Because it was going, man.
Really?
If we had to go against it, that would have been.
We were with it, fortunately. So, but again, I've been surfing for 20 years. Like, I know I can read the water, and like I have a good instinct of like, hey, let's go. And I always tell everybody on my boat, like, if you see me put my life jacket on calmly, know that I'm probably a little sketchy.
Yeah, you did.
If I feel comfortable, I'm
man.
okay without it. But like when I'm by myself, I wear it.
Yeah.
It's like I've heard too many stories from my friends that said, dude, like having that thing on saved my life. I don't care how big the waves. I don't care how good of a surfer you are. It doesn't matter. He's like, try jumping in the water with all your gear on.
That's what I would
and tell me a different ball game. So if I could preach to anybody out there, that's a new boat owner like me. I'm 30. I just got my first 14-foot aluminum beat up boat. Safety is nothing to laugh at. It's nothing. No one's going to make fun of you for wearing a life jacket because literally you don't want anything like that to go wrong. Yeah. Like that story of the bloody decks guy falling off when he's going to the bath. That's
going to the restroom?
Sweating.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude.
He's going to the bathroom, the boat in gear trolling, and fell off and somehow caught it. And the boat was in gear, it would have just kept going.
Wow.
And I was like, I thought it literally made me sweat. And I could hear you even like, whoa, bro.
Dude, I'm like,
holy smokes.
That's like when Bobby told his story. I'm like, oh my God.
I've seen Bobby's boat at Clement. I fished right there before. And I'm like, that story. I never heard the story though, because I've only hung out with Bobby a few times, like after a tournament and stuff like that. So hearing that story on your show was fantastic.
That was wild,
man.
I can't even imagine that.
At Clemente at night, swimming through like that.
Just as bad as Evan too.
Evan's story.
And EB, dude, all these guys, dude.
Hey, dude, Evan's a little ruthless though, man.
He's heavy,
I remember going to San Clemente. Sorry, not San Clemente. Catalina. It was like 4 of us.
He rides it hard.
Dude, he rides it hard, and to this day, My knee's still messed up. So I hope you remember that, Evan.
Right.
Yeah, dude, my knee's still messed up. It was fun.
You know what's cool though is like I was gonna bring it back to the brand thing is that like we've thought of a lot of stuff on the water, like saying things to each other, and they became graphics, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that
Just
people
like
see,
talking or something.
yeah, like so the story, we have a tee that says "Still Grinding" that I designed of like this skeleton guy like in a boat. It's one of our better seller ones. Pretty cool, simple graphic, really fun. Parker, again, Brandon would bring up this story. Parker was fishing a lake in San Diego, texting us, me and him back and forth, and then he was like on this war path to get like a giant, and I was at work, and I would just be living vicariously through him, like, yeah, I'm at work, but keep telling, like, tell me. But I love hearing my friends succeed and do well at fishing because it stokes me out and makes me push me harder to go, like, hey, like I'll go the extra mile just like you did, And so he calls me, like, I remember he left at 3 a.m. to go to the lake. It's a pretty far drive to where he's going. And I'm at work, midday, my phone rings. And in the morning, he calls me. He's like, dude, I just lost a giant. Like, I just got bit. I saw all these other fish. I'm like, sick. I'm like, oh, right on. Dude, like, all right, give me the update later. And then, like, my day keeps going. It's about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. He calls me again. And I'm like, hello? He's like, it's just like quiet. I just hear breathing. I'm like, are you still fishing, dude? Like you said you were gonna leave at noon. He's like, nah. He's like, still grinding, man. Yeah. And I was like, and something went off in my head. I'm like, man, that's kind of funny. Like, and I remember pitching it to Derek and being like, dude, we gotta make that a tee. Derek does this thing where he like claps his hands together and goes, like, dude, we gotta make that. There it is. Yeah. Dude, we gotta make that a tee. That sounds like a cool. That's a hilarious idea.
Yeah.
So it's like really raw stuff that comes from us fishing, not just like. I mean, again, we're blessed to not have chaotic home lives at the moment. Like I have a home, I have a wife and a dog. Derek lives, with his lady, and we don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
But so we're fortunate to be able to get on the water maybe a little more than. So I have mad respect for you, by the way, for like it's awesome.
Not me,
no, but
my wife.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like I get it, and I see the struggle, and I know how hard it is for some guys to get out there. So
yeah, dude,
I'm gonna cherish it for now, and then I'm gonna deal with it.
Please
when it
do.
comes
That's
to
why I
me
told Hopper,
because-
I'm like, get your fishing in, bro.
Yeah,
Get it all in now.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But I have mad respect for that, though. That's why, like, so.
But it gets easier, like. When
Of
you
course,
have
yeah,
kids,
for
like
sure. But
anything
dude,
else.
it's such a cool. That little rugrat that just ran in here. That
Dude,
was so
that made me
cool,
laugh.
man.
Yeah, man.
That's hilarious. But
think-
it's your mindset changes.
Yeah.
Like all your priorities change, and that's what you're supposed to do, though. I'd be shocked if someone was like, "Oh yeah, I just fished and leave my kid at home." I'd be like,
dude,
that's a child first off." So that's the reality. But anyway,
hey, I do that too.
yeah. But now you're like by yourself, you know what I mean? But it's cool spending time on the water, maybe a little too much time on the water. I've been accused many times of being overly grindy.
Dude.
But because I cherish it. Like if I work all week,
And you want your break.
I want my break, and I'm like, I'm gonna burn myself to the ground on Saturday, and it's all I can do right now, and I'm gonna enjoy it and cherish it, and cherish that one day or maybe a day and a half I can get out.
Yeah.
Because I know there's other dudes who might have to be working way more than maybe I'm working, and make a living. So like I said, I just have so much respect for people that work as their butts off and try to get on the water. And even if it's one time a week, who cares? That's your one time to make it count. Both of us the same thing. Like I barely get out during the week. People think they see Instagram and they think that I'm on the water all the time. People are like, oh, don't you just fish? No. I work all week, dude. Like I'm literally there from 8, 9 in the morning all the way till 6, 7 o'clock. Like I don't stop. Like we work all week. So if Saturday comes up, I'm like, Derek, you're not going back home till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like we're leaving at 4 and you're not
Let
going
him
back.
know.
Yesterday I was like, hey, what time are we leaving again, bro?
You could take a nap, but it's cool. Like a lot of our inspo and a lot of our brand stuff comes from just being out there and failing, succeeding experience on the water. So
Definitely,
it's
dude.
cool. Like the experience on the water, A, makes you a better fisherman, makes you learn more, but B, also gives us design inspiration, which is great.
It's like almost going on a meeting.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly
We meet all the time when we discuss full stuff on the water because we know in a business environment we're not ever like the same. It's like we're out there, we're like refreshed, feel good.
Yeah.
So it's that's why like I love our brand. I love being a part of it, and like it's just so fun
to continue strong until
we're gonna keep grinding it out and fighting in this industry and enjoying it. But
I think
having
you guys
fun,
are almost there, dude. So I
think
appreciate
so,
it.
man. We're at our 5th year. It'll be 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow,
and
dude.
they
Staying
say
afloat.
that your business doesn't really take off until you're 5 years, and I think we're starting to see that.
Yeah.
Now, we're
you guys are growing big, dude.
we're growing
trying.
steadily, and again, wholesale I think will be the next step, and getting these to the right people in other states, in tackle shops, and
Yeah,
getting
that
these
would
people
be
stoked on
great.
our stuff. I think that'll be very meaningful to me, to him, and then I'm sure our
The
families.
game
will,
changer too.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think
using our social following too, like, because we're a modern brand, like we're using modern marketing tactics. Derek's very good with our Instagram. He treats it very well. We try our best to get to everybody on there that asks questions or has comments, anything like that. And I think that is a cool platform for us to help tackle shops and, push people to these smaller tackle shops that are going to have our stuff in it and keep making waves. It just wasn't the right time until now. We feel like we want to help the tackle shops because that's where we shop. B, I mean, it'd just be awesome to see our stuff in there and see people maybe that aren't as Instagram savvy.
Yeah.
Or social
Yeah,
savvy.
you're learning. I'm learning that a lot of people, half of the crowd is older guys that don't really look at social media or even know what a podcast is, and then your other half is younger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So we got to learn that there is still that part of business where we need to, putting product right in front of the consumer at a tackle shop is sometimes way more critical than having just an online store.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that the hard way too, because I was like, let's just have an e-com shop. But I know like it's so much better when a kid walks in the tackle shop, buys his baits for his first spotty setup, and see, I saw this cool guy on the Lateral Instagram grabs a hat.
Yeah.
That would make that literally is the reason why we push ourselves so hard and work so hard on these photo shoots and these videos to make that one kid, stoked to put on a hat and then be like, feels like it's like the magical hat or something. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a brand like that too, whether it be like your, AFCO, overalls or your Salty Crew hat or whatever. Everybody has a thing
they like to wear.
They like to wear on the water that makes them feel confident, which is in fishing. It's us against nature. Like we're going to lose most of the time. We got to figure stuff out. So if you have a product, and that's all we always look at, like, oh man, like I have these Lateral tees and these certain hats that are literally in my fishing pile. I think Derek is the same. Like all of them are so beat up and crusty, but we know like these were our special Lateral products, So that's what we always like to, when we design it, we're like, oh, I hope some guy gets us a photo like holding up a big, like, I don't know, a GT or something, or like a big yellow or something cool wearing our stuff. And that's why it's a trip when we see stuff come in from Sweden.
Yeah, when we see orders
Thailand,
from Japan and
Italy,
dude,
we're like,
from Europe. And that's kind of like our city anglers, like we have the flags. We meant to put those certain flags there from Canada, from Europe, from Japan, because those are our top countries that buy from us.
Yeah.
Amazing, like unbelievable
statistics. Yeah, it's like
two guys.
So we're just shouting them out on our T-shirt. So again, it goes back to
dude.
the design and capturing a moment.
The fact that somebody like in a different country has bought our stuff, paid that atrocious shipping fee, we're really sorry.
It's not our fault.
It's not our fault. It's the way it goes. But it's just amazing to think that a guy fishing Park Lakes thought of this idea, and now there's people across the world wearing a Lateral hat is like mind-blowing and so humbling and so cool that we're just spreading fishing and people respect it and have a great time on the sport, and that our brand represents the fun or maybe the seriousness that because we have fun, but we also take it extremely serious. I mean, this guy's challenging me to stupid tournaments every day.
Like, come on.
But you know what I mean? So that's why like I love it. It's just we get to fish hard. We are fishermen. We run the brand as fishermen.
Yeah.
And that's why we want that's why we loved coming on here today to tell our story.
Yeah,
and,
I appreciate it.
We're not just business guys like, it started a fishing thing. Like we're legit out there, grinding
living
it out.
it.
Basically.
We
Look
live
at
it,
my
man.
thumb, literally right now.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
So much fun. I just love it. I love fishing. I don't care what kind it is.
Yeah.
It humbles me. It's like I love what C says is it's cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
I literally wrote that on like one of my tackle boxes because it's so true though, man.
We're gonna have
I love going out there. So
what's your guys' local tackle shop?
I'll say I grew up going to Performance.
Performance.
And I grew up going to Performance when it was across the street. They used to have a different location, smaller shop, and they outgrew it, so they moved where they're at now. And another one would be, because I was close to it, was Young's Tackle from Cerritos or La Palma area.
Carried Lateral for a good point.
Yeah. He was one of the, and that's another reason why I want to shout him out, because when I wanted to see what it meant inside stores, he was the one that gave me a chance.
Very cool.
And I put him in there. They did all right, and whatever inventory was left, I was like, I'll take it back. Like, I'll just sell them online. And so he gave me the shot. Great tackle shop, and I think Catch 'em Tackle also was another one that gave us a shot, just to kind of see what it meant very early on when we first started really engaging the brand.
Big time.
What about you, Nick?
So I work in Huntington Beach, so if I need quick stuff, I either go to Performance or Fisherman's Hardware, because they're both on my way home. And if I need emergency product, or if I'm just so hyped on, if I see somebody catching something, or like, oh, that looks like a great lure. Like I'll go to those two, and then my normal is catch 'em tackle
Catch 'em.
because I live closer to Newport than anything,
Okay.
so I've frequented catch 'em tackle and then Angler Center. I know a bunch of people that work there, and they're all great guys over there.
I met Will. Well, he used to work there.
Well, Derek,
yeah,
super great
cool.
guy.
And then I talked to Comron. I stop in there maybe once every week and just say what's up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
But I work down there because I talked to him. I'm like, I'll just stop by, say what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're both fantastic tackle shops.
Yeah.
They both kind of cater to two different types of fishermen too. So it's both great staffs, great owners.
Yeah.
Where I shop there happily, and both. Yeah. So I'd say Fisherman Hardware, Performance Tackle, Catch 'em Tackle,
Yeah.
Angler Center.
Great.
Big
Yeah.
four.
Yeah. Where can they reach you guys at? Like, if they want to buy some gear.
You could reach us at lateralvisionbrand.com. You could also follow our Instagram at lateralvision. Any other avenues? I think that's it for now.
Yeah, we have a Facebook as well.
Okay.
that we
Oh, yeah,
post,
Facebook, yeah.
So we run specials on each platform right now.
Great.
So sometimes that'll be a Facebook only sale. So if you're on our Facebook, you'll see the sale. If you're an Instagram follower, you'll see those type of sales. And then we also do, I guess, like, if you want to meet up with me and buy a hat out of my backpack,
Yeah,
I'll
we'll meet
still
up.
do that, but I won't. But it's we have a
714.
team now that ships for us, so we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
We had that era where we were selling out of the backpack, but
Yeah.
my personal is Arant Designs. That's where you could see a lot of my catches and boring content.
And then mine is Nick's gonna hate me for this, but it's at motherfucking Derek.
Oh, you're motherfucking Derek, huh?
Yeah, I'm not a motherfucking Derek.
Very professional.
Yeah,
It's so heavy,
yeah.
dude.
It's a love or hate sometimes. With certain people, but yeah, that's mine.
That's fine. My best friend I fish with. Also, my best friend I grew up with. His face squatter.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's real cute.
That's a good one. That's a fantastic one.
Wow, face squatter.
See, I could deal with that one.
Well, I
more.
got the inspiration. I was like, I'm gonna be myself. I saw face
I
down
love it.
bass up
I
from
love it.
Bloody Decks, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's Matt Florentino, Randy Spicer, and
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's such a sick name. So I was like, why not create a cool
That's
name?
so funny.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, thanks guys for coming
Oh,
on.
yeah, I
so much
appreciate
fun.
it. This was
Yeah.
an honor to be here. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
like
inviting
Yeah.
me.
this is humbling to be like to see the names that have been on this show and then to have us on here is like
Yeah, well,
truly
you guys
humbling.
are doing something good. That's
Yeah,
why I wanted to
appreciate
have you on.
Yeah,
So.
we're having so much fun.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.